Welcome to this 60-minute intermediate Vinyasa class, and today we're looking at a posture called Ashtavakrasana, or 8-angle pose. And while it's a fairly tricky arm balance, I think we can have some fun along the way, maybe learn some mechanics of the posture and just generally do what we can and give it a go. We'll be starting in a seated position. If you've got a couple of blocks, they might serve you today. If you don't have them, it's no worries. Let's get going in the seat. We'll meet there. Starting to settle into your seated position. The hands land comfortably. Slightly draw the chin in and lift through the crown of the head. Lower back extends as well. And then allowing for the shoulders and the ribs to settle a little bit into softness. Starting to broaden your awareness throughout your entire body. So rather than just aware of individual areas or parts of the body, see if you can kind of take in the whole thing. One seamless experience of the entire body. And that includes your level of energy and your state of mind. And simply just sort of feeling into the moment, into the body. Let's see if you can do this with a quality of observation. So really no reaction is needed. Don't need to change a thing. Just collecting information about yourself. And with that sort of overview on your entire state of being, we look to encourage heading towards or pointing yourself towards a state of well-being. And the first stop with that is with the breath. So starting to breathe just a little bit more fully down to the belly space, letting that expand naturally up into the chest. Starting to let your exhalation slow down a little bit. And pretty immediately here, creating a conscious and stable flow of breath. So the stability in the flow of the breath, relating to the consistency of it, the duration of the inhale to the exhale is relatively the same. There's a smoothness to it. There's a sense of ironing out any little stutters or kinks that are in the breath. And with this elongated breath, it starts to soften and soothe the nervous system. We're going to encourage that a little bit further. So a short breathing practice here. Start to breathe in for 4 seconds and breathe out for 8 seconds. In for 4, out for 8. I'll leave this with you for just a couple of rounds on your own. But again, concentrate on the smoothness and consistency of the breath. Completing the round that you're on. Coming back into a conscious breath, one that's still coordinated into such a pace that the inhale lasts for about the same duration as the exhale. So you might have to accelerate or slow one or the other, the inhale or the exhale. But you've got this kind of integrity in your breath, where your attention is centered into it. You're aware of it, and you're actively looking to create a kind of ease with the breath. Now that becomes exceptionally important as we challenge the body a little bit through the posture. So there's a contrast, a sense of balance. Effort in the postures and a sense of maybe intensity at times, but then finding equal parts of softness and composure with the breath. So keeping it flowing and keeping it moving. Start to shift your attention more outwardly and blinking open the eyes to pretty much come into cat-cow straight away. So roll over onto all fours, tabletop position, hands and knees, and start to get straight into cat-cow. So as you take an inhale, press the belly down, puff the chest forward and look up. And as you exhale, really arch and raise up through the spine, tucking the chin. You do that a few more times. Dip to the arch, carries the exhale to the inhale. And you keep on going with the movement. Really try and notice that your tailbone starts this movement. It tilts up, it rolls down. And feel free to throw in any additional movements. You might take little side bends here, dipping a shoulder towards a hip and the other way. Maybe full sort of body roll, a circular movement in your torso. Just sort of let the spine awaken, let the hips, the shoulders all awaken through fluidity. And more than that, you're creating a synchronicity of your breath and the body together. And naturally, the mind has to be actively attentive to what's happening right now. So a sense of presence comes with it. As you finish the round that you're on, return to a neutral spine, a little dynamic thread the needle. So raise the left arm up towards the ceiling, reach it up. Exhale, thread it underneath the right armpit and really drop the chest down, but we keep you on moving. Inhale, open back out, reach up, and exhale, threading under for the last one there. Inhale, open back out, and simply place the hand on the floor. Into the other side now, right hand raises up, inhale. Exhale, threading it underneath the left armpit. Inhale, open back out. Exhale, threading under. Inhale, back out, and then placing the hand down on the floor. Now in this shape, go ahead, tuck the toes just for a moment, round through the upper back like an angry cat, and then hover the knees just 1 inch above the ground. Holding here, staying here, rounding your upper back still. Just an extra breath or two more. And drop the knees. Dip the belly, cat-cow again. Dip the belly. Exhale to arch the spine. Now hold in this arching of the spine. Round up. Now again, lift the knees an inch. We do a little bit of work. Tap your left knee to the left elbow. Step the foot back a little further than what it was, but keep the knee hovering. Right knee to right elbow. Step it back a little further. We're making our way to plank. Left knee to left elbow. Step it nearly all the way back. Now right knee to right elbow. Nearly all the way back. And last one, left knee, left elbow. Step it back. And then right knee, right elbow. Back into plank. Lift the hips and draw the hips back. Pretty immediately here, walk the hands back towards your feet into Uttanasana, with this forward fold ragdoll here. Let the whole upper body really just relax here. Shoulders, neck. It can be a nice deep bend in the knees here as well. We take 2 or 3 more breaths, swaying a little if you like to. Just letting the body adjust. Breath keeps on moving for maybe just 2 more now. And releasing the hands, walking the hands back out to plank position, only momentarily. And then draw the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Now we find a little rolling plank. So inhale brings you forward, shoulders above the wrists, top of a push-up, back to down dog, and a couple more like that. Inhale brings you forward to high plank, back into down dog, and last one, plank, back to dog. Now this time, as you come into high plank, either with the knees or not, lower down through chaturanga until you're flat onto the floor. Take the hands off the side of the mat and come up into fingertips. Press the feet hard and lift the chest into cobra. And exhale takes you straight back down. Now you carry on moving with your own breath now. Inhale lifts the chest, exhale takes it back down. Really try and squeeze the thighs so tight that the kneecaps come off the ground. Take 2 more rounds and try and rely on the hands less. Let your back body muscles do some work here for 1 more round, lifting and lowering. And As the chest comes down, either push your way up through plank or go back through tabletop and into downward facing dog. And again, walking the hands towards the back of your mat into a forward fold. Bend into the knees deeply, roll up the spine through to standing. Reach up and stretch up nice and big. And then very simply folding straight back down towards the ground. Now, as you get there, halfway lift, really flatten your back out. Right hand raises up into a twist. Put a big bend into the left knee here. And start to let the right hip lift. Now, just one more long breath on this side. And we switch. Right hand comes down, left hand moves up. A couple of breaths there, finding nice steadiness with the breathing. And then we'll find one breath to one movement, so moving with the breath. Left hand comes down again, right hand moves up. Same thing on the other side. Keep on going. Right hand down. Inhale, left hand up. And exhale, left hand down. Leave it there. Walk the hands out to plank position. And once you get there, drop the heels off to the left in this plank. Heels off to the left. Hold there for a moment. Heels back through to center. And then over to the right. Hold there for a moment. Now we add a little to that. As you lift the heels, pull back into down dog. This time, as you're coming into high plank, already start to take your heels over to the left, just where we were a moment ago. And then back to down dog, and do the same thing on the side. High plank, heels over to the right. Back to down dog. One more on each side. High plank, heels to the left. And back to down dog. And last one, here we go. High plank, heels to the right. And back to down dog. This time, again, high plank. See if you can lower down through chaturanga by bending the elbows. And lower all the way down. Again, hands off the side of the mat. Point the toes. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to lower down. Now, you carry on with a couple more rounds, but see how slow you can lower your chest back down to the floor. So, relying on the hands a little less, really awakening the back body strength here. Especially that lowering down is really not that easy. So, take your time with it, don't strain it. Keep the breath moving. Maybe just one more round now, lift and lower. And as the chest comes down, either push up through plank or come back through tabletop and into down dog. And now a nice easy walk to the top of the mat, feet towards the hands. Bend deeply into the knees, feet to about hip width, into this wide knee chair pose. So arms up, keeping the knees separated. In the shape, hands to prayer at heart center, suck your belly in. Lift the heels up off the ground. Keep the heels nice and lifted. Now, see if you can touch your butt down to your heels for a moment. Keep the chest lifted. Little toe standing squat for one more big breath. And a little challenging here. Keep the heels lifted and stand all the way up. All the way up, little ballerina. Suck the belly in, squeeze the butt here. Reach high for the ceiling for just one more big breath. And then plant the heels to fold forward. Take a halfway lift and we come through a couple of rounds of sun sail. So step back to plank position, lowering into chaturanga, half plank. Upward facing dog, pull the chest through. And into downward facing to lift the hips up and back. Breath or two more there. Then returning to the top of the mat. So heels up, knees bend, walk, step or jump lightly to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to stand all the way up, reach and stretch up, nice and big. And the exhale takes you straight back down towards the ground, hands to the floor. And halfway lift, inhale. Step or jump back into chaturanga, half plank, bent elbows, hug the elbows into the side body. Up dog. Finds down dog, hips up and back. Settling into down dog here, sinking the heels. In this down dog, a little bit different where we take it. So take the feet just a touch wider. Go ahead and take this right hand over to the left side of the mat. Fingers face out to the side, so threading it underneath the left armpit. And it's not too deep, but start to lift the left hip up, sinking into the left foot or the left heel for just one more breath. And then same thing other side. So right hand comes back out, left hand reaching underneath the armpit, reaching for the side. But as soon as you get there, you're not trying to take the chest under too much. Just reaching and then lifting the right hip up to place the heel down as best as you can. It should emphasize the right leg on this side quite a lot. One more breath there now. And left hand comes back down. Heels up, knees bent, walks up or jump top of the mat. Half lift inhale as you arrive. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand, reaching all the way up. And this time as you fold forward, it's going to change. Hands to the ground. Halfway lift, another left foot steps back into runner's lunge. Go ahead and puff the chest out on fingertips. Sweep the arms back into arrowhead, lifting the chest just off the thigh. An extra breath here to take a nice deep belly breath. And then lower the back knee down. Raise the arms up into low lunge. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, take a twist. Flip the front palm and reach up and back. Just 2 breaths here on this first round. And then we'll link a couple more postures together. Big breath here. And go ahead, hook your left elbow around the front knee, hands come together. Big breath here to deepen the twist and turn the right shoulder back, sink the hips. Now take your time with the transition here, tuck in the back toes. Lift the back leg to straighten it out. Big breath here. Reach your arms straight out in front of you, looking to the floor, keep the chest off the thigh. Exhale to arrowhead, we link it all together. Drop the back knee, raise the arms, low lunge. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, twist. Keep your left butt cheek tight, flip the front palm and reach up and back. And as you exhale, bow forward and hook the left elbow. Extra breath to linger here, sink the hips, deepen the twist. We got one more round. Inhale, reach out, lift the back knee as you reach out. Exhale to arrowhead, sweep back. Drop the back knee, arms up, low lunge. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, take a twist. Inhale, flip the front palm, reach up and back. And as you exhale, bow forward, take the twist. Hands together, big breath here. This time, just like before, reach the arms out, lift the back knee, and simply hands on the floor for 3-legged dog. So the right leg now lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, peel the hip open, really tilt it up. Lifting. Extra breath or 2. Stick with me for the transition here. As you inhale through to high plank, go ahead, straighten your right leg out, kicking it strong, keep the heel up, and look for starfish side plank. So roll to the outer blade of the back foot first. Right hand up, hold there, or join the legs now, and take an extra breath or 2. And wherever you're at, we join the legs regardless. Switch this side plank over. The right hand comes down. The left hand moves up. Potential for wild thing there. Stepping the left foot behind and outside the right leg. Lifting the hips, tilting the chest open. Big breath there. Now stick with me for the transition. As the left foot steps up somewhere between the hands, go ahead and slide the back leg, the right foot, up behind the front one into a cross-legged forward fold. Halfway lift inhale and fold back in. Let the neck relax. 2 to 3 more breaths here. Now in this shape we get just a little bit tricky. Go ahead and start to bend both knees pretty much. Pick up the back foot, the right one. Tap the knee to the back of the calf and get as low as you can here. Puff the chest out a little more. So it should be loading up the left leg, knee to calf or even to ankle if it's there. A breath or 2 more. And then gently shoot that right leg back, runner's lunge, into 3-leg dog for a 3-leg flow. So left leg lifts up and out. High plank to low plank, chaturanga. Take your flow, 2 feet to the ground is welcome. Up dog, we'll find down dog. And down dog, we take 2 or 3 deep breaths there, settling the heels into the floor. And again, returning to the top of the mat. Heels up, knees bent, walk, step or jump, feet towards the hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand, reach up. And again, simply folding forward, hands to the ground. Half lift, and now the right leg steps back. Go ahead and start to lift the chest just off the thigh into arrowhead. Sweep the arms back. Hold here for a couple of breaths. We'll take it slow on the first round. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. One more deep breath. Lower the back knee. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Right hand forward, left hand back. Flip the front palm and reach up and back. We'll take an extra breath or two. Now squeeze the right butt cheek. Got to keep the butt tight. One more big breath. And as you bow forward, hook your right elbow around the knee. Hands together. Sink the hips and deepen the prayer. 2 big breaths. Alrighty. Lift the back knee. Hold for a couple of breaths on this first round. Pause. Alright, here we go. 1 breath to 1 movement, pretty much, with a little linger here and there. Inhale. Reach the arms out. Thunderbolt. Exhale, sweep the arms back, arrowhead. Drop the back knee, inhale, arms up, no lunge. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. Inhale, flip the front palm, keep the butt tight. Exhale, bow forward, hook the elbow, hands together. Sink into the twist for a sec. And as you lift the back knee, reach the arms out. Exhale, sweep the arms back, arrowhead. Drop the back knee, arms up, low lunge. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back twist. Inhale, flip the front palm, reach up and back. As you bow forward, hook the right elbow, hands together. Extra breath. Lift the back knee as you reach out in front of you. Take an extra pause there. And very simply, hands on the ground for 3-legged dog. So that left leg, front leg lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, peel the hip open, give it a nice release. So it's all happening at once here. As you come into high plank, straighten through your top leg, kick it out. Keep it stiff as you roll to the outer blade of back foot. Find that first, and then left hand up. Join the legs if you want to. Adjust the stance. Breath or 2 more. And switch. Left hand down, right hand up. Option for wild things, stepping the right foot just outside of the mat, turning the chest, turning the hips, lifting. Breath or 2 more there. And 1 big step if you can, right foot between the hands, and then sort it out. Get the foot in between the hands. Back foot slides in behind the front one into a fairly deep cross-legged forward fold. Now as you get there, halfway lift, and then fold back in. Let the neck relax quite a lot here. It can be as much of a bend in the knees as you like, but generally, take just a little bit of body weight forward. 2 more breaths. Just a little lift of the chest. Go ahead and bend both knees basically. Touch your left knee to the back of the right calf, curtsy down, but now the chest puffs out a little. So the right ankle is really taking quite a load here. Thigh is working, 2 more breaths here. And go ahead, shoot the left leg back, set the foot down, runner's lunge, 3-leg dog. So the right leg lifts up. You might keep the legs stiff and lifted as you come through a flow, or place the foot down and come into high plank for chaturanga, up dog, or find downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up and back. Once you're in down dog, settle the heels and take a couple more breaths. And then making your way to the top of the mat. So walk, step or jump, feet towards the hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand. Reach and stretch up. Feet together and into chair. Twist off to your right and hook your left elbow around the knee. Keep the knees together and in line with each other as you sit the butt down. Now, very much like before, start to lift up the left foot and tap the knee to the back of the right calf. Take your time. I know this is pretty balancy little shape. Hold here. Breath or two more. And as slow as you can, step the left foot back into this twisted lunge. Set the foot down. 2 big breaths only here. So extend the chest forward a touch. 1 more breath here. And hands on the floor. Nicely done. Shorten up the stance a little bit there. Back foot steps in. And then straighten through the front leg into pyramid. 2 straight legs. In this pyramid, lift the back heel up as high as you can. Now, starting to release the shoulders here. And in fact, walk the hands down the mat towards the back of the mat. The fingers face back, can come up onto fingertips, kind of rounding through the upper back a little bit more and folding over the front leg. Keep your jaw nice and soft here. Keep your breath stable and consistent, still maintaining a sense of composure, or at least pointing yourself in that direction. Stay for 2 more breaths at least. And very gently here, go ahead and spin the back heel down. A little bend in the front leg and open out into something like Warrior 2, but not quite. Straighten completely through the front leg. Reach as far forward as you can for triangle. As the right hand comes down, left hand moves up. Keep your back thigh and the butt cheek nice and tight. And find a nice, consistent, steady breath. In the shape, a little more refinement even, to start to squeeze the shoulder blades together and draw the shoulders down the back a little. Belly pulls in as you do that. 2 to 3 more breaths here. And for the last couple of breaths, wrap the top arm behind your lower back into a half bind. Really turn back the shoulder here and take just an extra breath or 2 now. Keeping the half bind, keep the left hand behind your lower back. Inhale and stand up. Flip the front palm to the ceiling. Pause at the top, bend the top elbow, take it behind your head, and look to interlock the fingers. If they don't quite make it, all good, just keep reaching and lift your right armpit up here for an extra breath. And then back into Warrior 2 or into Warrior 2. So bend the front knee, open the arms. Side angle to follow, right elbow to the knee or hand down to the floor. Again, top arm into a half bind, wrap it behind your lower back. Really start to turn back the shoulder. Keep the front knee above the ankle. The tendency is that it's going to fall into the left. Try not to let it. Poke it to the right, just a touch. Back leg's going to be really firm. Full bind is welcome. Otherwise, 2 to 3 more breaths here. Just turning back the shoulder, left shoulder. An extra breath here now. And then very gently, hands to the floor. Walk them to the back of your mat and into Skandasana. Turn the left toes out as you sit your butt towards the left heel. Chest up, hands to prayer. Couple of breaths here. And nice and gently switch. Draw your hips over towards your right heel. As you arrive here, place the right hand down, raise the left hand up and take it into that half bind again. Wrapping the left arm behind your lower back. Turn back the chest. Possibly you take a full bind, but this will be enough. Keep the back toes there, the left toes lifted or the foot lifted. Extra breath now. And then lifting the hips up, turning the back toes rather down, and we're headed towards a wide-legged forward fold facing the side of the mat. So turning the front foot in, take a halfway lift to lengthen, pause there, and just start to bend into each knee, moving the hips from left to right. No wrong answer here. Just feel into your hips. You can be as shallow or as deep as you want. But do try and keep the chest kind of flat to the floor here, so not letting it bow down too far. flat back. Maybe 2 more long breaths wherever you're at with this shape. And then go ahead, walk the hands back to the top of the mat. Now, stay cool, we've got a little bit of work to do. So inhale, 3-legged dog, right leg lifts up and out. Bend at the knee, peel the hip open. Right knee to left elbow. See if you can spin the back heel down. Raise the left hand up and hug the knee to the chest. Don't let it go out yet. Hold it. 2 times now. Kick the leg to the side and then pull the heel back in. 1 more. Kick, pull, hold. We've got a little work. Left hand down. Shoot the right leg up and bring it back into that starfish side plank. Roll to the outer blade of the foot. Right hand up. Hold for a breath. Join the legs. Switch it over. Right hand down. Left hand up and into wild thing. The left foot steps outside. Behind the mat, chest turns and lifts. Extra breath there. And in 1 big step if you can. Left foot up between the hands. Perfect. And as you're right there, just like before, right foot slides up behind the left one and you start to bow forward. If you want to take this a little bit further, place the left hand down and raise the right hand up. Front knee can be nice and bent. Take a couple of breaths. Now, either staying in some variation of that cross-legged forward fold or a little trickiness into this cross-heeled or cross-ankled crow. So you separate your knees, keeping the cross at the shins. Separate your knees, hands on the floor. Knees drive into the upper arms. Now, the balance is a little bit different to standard crow, so take your time with it, don't go crazy. Squeeze the knees in, trust the fingers, and then the left heel, in a sense, pulls the right foot up off the ground. Round your upper back. Take a couple of breaths if you can there. 1 or 2 more. And then set the feet back down onto the ground. Halfway lift again, just like before. Tap the right knee to the back of the left calf, curtsy down, slide down, keep the chest flat. Hands are there to help this time. 2 more big breaths. Step the right foot back into crescent lunge, arms up. We've got a little more work to do. You can do this. Raise the arms. Exhale to arrowhead, sweep the arms back. Inhale, hands to prayer, right knee comes up into the chest. And finding figure 4. So take your right ankle onto the left knee, sit the butt down. Now, stick with this one. It's a little challenging on the balance. Do your best with it. Starting to turn to the left. I like to physically grab the left heel with my, the right heel rather, with my left hand. And take the elbow onto the foot. And then start to bring the hands together. Keep looking to the floor as you turn your left shoulder back into this twist, sinking the butt if you can, doing your best with wherever you can on the journey towards this posture. We'll take maybe 3 more breaths, staying cool with it. Same way out the way we came in, hands to prayer, knee to the chest. Nice and tight, squeeze it in, and very simply step the foot down. Raise the arms up, and we take a flow. Fold forward, halfway lift, inhale. Step or jump back into chaturanga, half plank. Upward facing dog finds downward facing dog, lifting the hips up and back. Once you're into down dog, pretty immediately walk, step or jump to the top of your mat and chill out in a forward fold. Bent knees, just a couple there. Breath or 2 more now. Feet together. Stand up. Reach up and stretch up. Exhale, chair. Bend the knees and sink the butt. Turn to your left and hook the right elbow around the knee. Keep the twist deep by pressing into the prayer. And then picking up the right foot slowly. Keep the knees connected initially. Get your balance and then tap the right knee to the back of the left calf. Hold, breathe, stay there. Extra breath or 2. And then lingering as you step the foot back into twisted lunge for just a couple of breaths. Now coordinate it so the front knee is above the ankle. 2 more breaths from there. Hands on the floor. Shorten up your stance just a little. Half step in. Lifting the back heel and straightening through the front leg into pyramid. You might have to halfway lift and then sort of fold back in so the lower back is a little more comfy. And then start to walk the hands backwards, down the mat. Once you've settled into your shape, really find a softness through the jaw and the neck. There's definitely that level of intensity that's in this posture, but try not to carry that on into the mental state. Soothing the breath, steadying the mind, consistent pacing, focus there. 2 breaths to go. And then very simply, a little bend into the front leg. Back heel spins down, opening arms to a T. Fully straighten the front leg and then reach out, reach forward, left hand down, right hand up into Trikonasana. So in this triangle, really concentrate on the chest turning up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades squeezing together a little. The hand can be on the shin, a block, or the ground. Settle breathing. And then for the last couple of breaths, half bind, wrap your right arm behind the lower back, really turn back the shoulder here. Focus on the twisting action, revealing the chest to the ceiling. Breath or 2 more. Keep the half bind, stand up, flip the front palm up and back, pause there. Look to interlock the fingers by bending the elbow. If it's not quite going to reach, just reach, interlock rather, just reach for the hands and keep lifting the armpit here. We've got still 1 or 2 more breaths. And then through Warrior 2, reach out, bend the front knee into side angle. So left hand down on the floor if you can. Half bind, wrap the right arm behind the lower back. And then it's almost like you lift the chest a little to turn the shoulder back. So get some extension through the spine. Take care of your front knee, keep it above the ankle. Couple more steady breaths here. And good, hands to the ground, Skandasana at the back. So turn the right toes out, sit the butt towards the right heel, chest up. Breath or 2 more there. Again, left foot is lifted, active. And then we switch it over to the other side. So over to the left heel as the right toes lift. And as we get that left hand down, right hand up, half bind, wrap it behind your lower back. Turning back the shoulder here. Couple of breaths. Alrighty. Hands to the floor, into the middle of the mat. Lift the butt up into this wide-legged forward fold. Now halfway lift, and then fold deeply forward. In this fold, take your time, and you might want to catch the back of the heels and draw the chest down. You might like to interlace behind the lower back and lift the hands up. You could even walk the hands through the legs. Whichever variation is going to work here for you for the next 5 breaths or so. Keep the belly in and the tailbone up. 2 more breaths here at least. Halfway lift, we keep on moving. Hands back to the top of the mat. We've got a little bit of work to do on the wrists and the shoulders here, so stay cool, stay with it. Here we go.
Left leg lifts up and out, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, peel the hip open, really tilt it up. And then left knee to right elbow. Cross it underneath your body, spin the back heel down. Right hand up, hug the knee in 2 times. Kick the leg out to the side and pull it back in. One more. Out, in, hand down. Lift the left leg up into three-legged dog or thereabouts. Come into high plank if you haven't already, into the starfish side plank. So left hand now raising up. Join the legs if you like. Breath or 2 more here. Flip it. Left hand down. Right hand up. Side plank the other side. And maybe wild thing. Right foot outside the mat. Turning the hips. Lifting the chest. Arching through the back. One more big breath there. And if you can, one big step. Right foot somewhere up between the hands. And then left foot slides behind it. So eventually, a cross-legged forward fold at the top of the mat. Left leg is behind the right one. Relax the neck a little here. Now, welcome to stay in this shape. We can take it a little further towards a bit more intensity. The left hand coming up. I like to place my right hand on the floor, just sort of in front of the foot for nice kind of balance. Breath or 2 more. Now we're just staying in this kind of variation or some variation of this cross-legged forward fold or this cross-legged crow. So the balance is definitely different. Hands come to the ground, back shoulder width apart. You separate the knees into their respective elbows and, or even higher than that, nestle them in towards the upper arms. And then as the butt's coming up, the head comes down. You've got to clamp the knees in. Squeeze the thigh to the ribs. Thigh to the ribs is going to help. Thigh to the ribs. And then shifting body weight forward to maybe pick up the heels. Breath or 2 more wherever you're at. And then setting the feet down on the floor. Back into the wide leg, the cross-legged forward fold rather. Breath more here. And then just like before. Hands walk out a little bit. Tap the left knee to the back of the right calf. Curtsy down. Sink low. Sink low. Breath more here. Crescent lunge. Step back. Arms up. Let the front leg do some work here. Reach up. Settle the balance. And nice and slowly. Arrowhead. Left knee to the chest as you stand up with it. And into figure 4. So set the left ankle on the right knee, sit the butt down. Get your balance at every stage here. Once you find the body weight coming down a little, start to gently and slowly turn to the right. Physically grab the foot if you want with your right hand, placing the left elbow on the foot, and then thinking about opening the arms from there, or just staying in that prayer position. I'll give you a center view of the same. So keep the butt sinking. Foot, elbow, maybe arms. Couple breaths. And as you're ready, stand up, knee to the chest. Legs are probably burning by now. Big breath in. And then set the foot down. Raise the arms up. Doing good. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, and then step or jump back into chaturanga, coming straight through a flow. Up dog, we'll find down dog, and finally down dog into a kneeling position. Couple of breaths in this kneeling position. Might like to shut down the eyes. And so, while you're settling a little there, I might show you where we're going to go, but we're going to have a look at an interesting little arm balance called Ashtavakrasana. So coming to your butt when you're ready, taking the legs out. Just do whatever you can in carving out the pathway towards this arm balance. If you've got blocks, it's a good time to use them. If you don't have them, all good. We can still get there all the same. I'll show you both ways. So without the blocks, it starts the same way. We go ahead and we're just going to sort of set it up straight away. So the right knee lifts up to the back of the shoulder.
The right knee comes up to the back of the shoulder. Now this is like the really critical part. You clamp the leg onto the upper arm. We're trying not to let the knee slide down the arm as we come into the arm balance. So really nice and high. I know there's a limit with that for wherever you are, but squeezing and clamping onto the arm. Now from there, hands kind of next to the hips, and then lifting the left foot to take the heel over the right one. From here, it's kind of like one movement, using a little bit of momentum. You're sort of going to pick up the butt and rock the hips back. I'm going to add one more little detail to this. As you lift the butt, squeeze the knees towards the right shoulder. Squeeze and lift the butt. So that might be where you sort of just practice here. It's hard enough sort of lifting the body up, right? It feels really heavy. If it's there, lift the butt and then kick out to the right and find that shape, the Ashtavakrasana. So just looking at the mechanics of it, when you get into the arm balance, the right knee, the inner thigh, is resting on the upper arm like a little ledge. So that would be the kind of position there. If you have another look, and keep on going if you're practicing and playing with it. We're just going to go through each side, so don't let me stop you getting into it now. And hands on the ground, you wrap the heel over, especially clamping the legs together and shooting them to the right as you lift the butt and bow forward. There's that little ledge to create a shape, clamping on the upper arm as best as you can. Now the blocks, if they're there, keep on going, play with the other side if you'd like to, and I might show you from there. Same thing, left knee comes up, you clamp. If you do have blocks, it's going to help you to just get some elevation into it. So you're lifting the hips and then sort of taking yourself over to the side. So I know it's a big ask, it's definitely a big shape, but just those initial movements are going to be heaps to work the core, wrist strength, upper body strength, shoulder strength, clamping, swaying up, lifting down. I'm sure you did an amazing job. When you've had enough of that, go ahead and release the legs and give them a little shake. Take a breath or two, and I will as well. And just to open the hips, very compressed on the hips, isn't it? So feet on the ground, hands just outside and behind the hips. Roll back the shoulders, scoop the hips up into reverse tabletop, but take care to squeeze your butt. Lift the chest through the shoulders, suck the belly in. 2 to 3 more breaths here. And release, coming down nice and slow. As you come down, take the right leg out to the right and bring the left foot inside that thigh. Now, one of two choices here, and they're kind of going to be quite polarizing. So this is a perfect position to be in. Lift the chest, turn and fold. Or if you want to go towards something a little bit more strenuous, compass pose. The right knee comes up to the back of the shoulder, very much like where we just were, little leg backpack. The left hand grabs over the top of the foot. Right hand comes down next to the hip, and you start to kick as the shoulder rolls back to the side. So the bicep comes next to the ear as you start to kick, and there's a side bend. The leg is obviously feeling it, and then once you're up there, you start to lift the chest and squeeze the shoulders back. That draws the hip back. If you've had enough of compass and you want to come down to the forward fold, totally get it. I'll be there. And we've still got maybe 5, 6, 7 more breaths here. Long breaths at that. Starting to turn down the volume a notch here. Settle into it. One or two more breaths now. Inhale, chest lifts up. Coming towards stargazer. So bring the left hand just outside and behind the left hip. Lift the hips up, pressing them to the ceiling. Squeeze the butt a little here for just one more breath. And then plonk the butt down. Just before we carry on, straight into a side bend. So right hand comes down, or elbow maybe comes down. Left hand raises up. And then reaching over for the foot. So kind of staying consistent in a little theme here. Hamstring and side body together. Really lean back on the top shoulder. Now if you're super deep into this, reach the right hand across for the outer left thigh and catch the front foot and rolling back the top shoulder. Quite deep. Do try and expand your breath. It's not easy to maintain there, as I just discovered. And especially the left side rib cage is quite full here with inhalation. 2 more breaths to go. Inhale, lifting up. I'm pretty much just going to go straight into the other side of that little series. So either the left leg kicks out, bring the foot inside. It's nice to also plug the leg back into the socket, so you sort of pull it back a little bit. Raise the arms, turn over the thigh and fold, or if it's compass, sort of step by step can really help here. So the left knee comes to the back of the shoulder. Here, take the other foot. Then, left hand comes down. From here, it's all about getting your spine up straight. So as you kick, you might not get the legs straight if that means getting the lower back a little bit higher. And you could work with that position, I'm sure it will engage from there. Maybe if you're taking it further, keep kicking, bicep up next to the ear. And again, can't stress it enough. If you're in compass, lower back lifting, whole spine lifting. Big breaths. Again, if you have enough of compass, you've got that fold forward in Vinyasa, right there waiting. Really soft with the mouth now, wherever you're at. Steady breathing. Three to four more here now. Inhale, chest lifts up. Right hand just behind the hip for stargazer. Lift the hips, squeeze the butt. Lift, lift, lift. Big breath in here. And release. Hips coming down nice and slow. Once you're there, coming towards lying on your back. If you want to practice some other form of inversion like headstand, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, grab your block, make your way down, or a pillow even. Grab from the couch, and then lift the hips. Take it underneath the hips. And lift the legs up. From here, welcome to stay in this posture, Viparita Karani, legs up the wall pose, or come up into shoulder stand here. Lift up your hips, supporting the lower back. I'm not going to go through it today, just a suggestion, but I really encourage this legs up the wall pose. Beautiful, beautiful posture. In a sense, even if you're comfortable with a bigger kind of inversion, this could be super nice to just back it off a little bit, get all the positive effects of an inversion. One of them is that the heart doesn't have to work quite so hard to pump blood from the legs. So here, noticing that your breathing can really settle since your respiratory system just maybe has just a little less demand on it. And it's really minute, obviously. It's not a big deal for the heart to pump blood from your legs all day and night. I like to imagine the legs kind of draining of blood. And in the next couple of breaths, beginning to come out of this shape, allowing for the feet to come down to the floor nice and gently. From there, lift the hips, release the block, and lower down nice and gentle. Just take a breath or two. Coming through just one round of bridge pose. So tilt the tailbone up and lift the hips up towards the ceiling, holding there. You could interlace behind the lower back or find wheel by placing the hands next to the ears, pressing the chest up and back. But this bridge is much more than enough. It's wriggling the shoulders underneath you a little. Keep the tailbone tilting forward and keep the belly sucking in here. At least 5 more breaths, so a bit of a hold. We're going to see if we can back up this back bend with another back bend. So stick with me for the transition out. If you're in wheel, come back to bridge. Lower your hips or your butt cheeks down onto your hands, and your hands are facing down. So you're sitting on your hands. Extend the legs out straight. We're on our way to fish. Once you get there, press the big toe mounds together, right where the inner big toe is. Press them together, keep them together, point the toes. Now start to lift the chest up to the ceiling. Literally lift your back off the floor. Wriggle the elbows underneath you. Suck the belly in and puff up the chest. Physically push the head back to open the chin. Keep the chest lifting up through the shoulders here. Pinch the shoulder blades back. Two more breaths. And release. Coming out nice and slow. Release the arms. And then taking a little moment to drop the knees from side to side, making sure the spine is loose. And taking an eagle wrap on your leg. So wrap your right leg over the left one. Before we go anywhere with this, hug both knees in towards your chest. Now, see if you can grab the little feet that are sticking out the side there. You're actually taking your left hand to your right foot, right hand to the left foot, but pretty much just grab the foot that's closest. It's almost a neurological challenge. Either way, start to draw the knees in towards your chest, and you should feel it in your hips. If this really isn't working out, just grab the top knee, wrapping them up, and draw the legs in. Give them a nice tight squeeze. Generally speaking, heels are somewhat coming down towards the hips, so don't let them lift up. Use the arms to keep them down. It's a very compressed shape, no doubt. 2 more breaths here. And dropping the legs over to the left now into a twist. So a little scooch of the hips to the right as the knees come over, opening out the shoulder, the right shoulder that is. Not terribly long here, maybe just 5 breaths. Back up through the center. You might want to just give the legs a little shake for a second, opening the hips a little bit. And then into the eagle wrap on the other side. So crossing the left leg over the right one, hugging the legs in, grabbing the feet or the foot that's closest to the hand, grab a hold. And this can look, any kind of awkward shape that's there that your hips and legs will allow for. Take that. And again, taking the knees and just grabbing a hold. The whole idea is to draw the legs in and feel it somewhere in the outer hip or the glute region. Steady breathing to continue, nonetheless. 2 more breaths here. And then gently heading off into twist, legs down to the right, hips over a little to the left. And then really taking time to soften the exhalation into this posture. Two to three more breaths here. Keeping them really soft. We're kind of carving out a pathway for Shavasana to naturally take place. Back up through the center. Unwrap the legs. Do anything that feels nice before Shavasana, like happy baby or similar. Have a little wriggle and a kick if you like to, even a sway from side to side. But as soon as you're ready, bring yourself down to a flat position, laying all the way down. And once you're into Shavasana, give yourself a moment to really become settled into stillness, not trying to hurry, not trying to create any kind of force, just settling and softening. In this posture, see if you can prioritize rest. You know, the mind will carry on thinking. You can't stop the thoughts. But how much you engage with each thought, how much energy you give, how much intensity you give is really up to you. And so even though the mind won't stop, thoughts will keep coming. Try not to let them bait you into engaging with them. Let them come and then gently let them go. Instead, keep on recentering your attention into the feeling of rest in the body. Encourage rest by taking interest in it. And it's as much of a practice as being dynamic, using effort, being motivated, all those things that come with movement and being dynamic. In contrast to that and in balance to that, also need a practice of rest, but conscious rest. You're aware of it, you're taking part in it, actively resting. And it's simply a decision. Take time here. I'm going to leave you with Shavasana. Please take as long as you possibly can in Shavasana. Deep love to you, and I say Namaste.